Is he the thief?
No, he's not the thief. The thief means that he's not the thief. But the day of the Lord has the effect of a thief on a person who's not prepared. Meaning, the whole motif of a thief, there's two different points in the motif of a thief. Suddenly, he comes suddenly, and that's the one most everybody picks up. But a thief, when he comes, the person suffers loss. That's the bigger point of the thief motif. You suffer loss. And what the Lord's saying is, my coming, if you're not ready, it's not just that it will be sudden, it will be significant personal loss for you. That's the actual main point of the thief of the night. But almost everybody hits the sudden part, and that is part of the motif, but it is the loss part. Now, all you have to do is do one thing, in most cases, to keep a thief. Stay awake. If you're up, the lights are on, thief's not coming. You go away, the thief comes. And that's all you have to do. Now, there's that one thief who comes anyway, but I'm talking in the broad sense that Jesus coming like a thief will actually be like a thief to believers. If believers are not prepared, they will suffer real loss. So his coming was like a thief to them, because it resulted in them losing that which they could have kept if they would have stayed awake. Did you follow that? That's
Yes,
kind of confusing
great.
to follow.
Yes, great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Just real quick before my question, I want to say hi from Derek Kistner and tell you that Peoria, Illinois loves you. So, anyways.
And verse visa. Tell
What
him
is that?
back. Verse visa.
Okay. My question is Revelation 5:13. It says, "And every creature which is in heaven and on the earth and under the earth, and such as are in the sea, and all that are in them, I heard saying, blessing and honor and glory and power be to him who sits on the throne and to the Lamb forever and ever." And that's right before the seals start. Now, is that just talking about like creatures as in nature, or is that people as well? Because
people.
So every human being is going to be blessing the Lord before he actually even does anything? Is that what that means? Or
it's hard to say what's the timing of the Revelation 5 passage, because there's an eternal dimension. And so he takes the scroll in Revelation 5:7. He takes it. 5:8, the bowls are full. And then, from then after, it's the response. So that response could be the minute after he takes it, or it could be 2,000 years after he takes it. That, it doesn't tell us when those songs, it says they come one after the other, but there could be a couple thousand years in between, or there could be a minute. So we're kind of left not sure. Okay. Did you follow that?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
Thanks.
Like, I don't know how you do it. You've been standing there for like, in the same spot for 2 hours. It's awesome. And I'm curious, so I'm double dipping, as Shelley put it. I was sitting there, I was just wondering, in the Olivet Discourse, when Jesus, he talks about, but woe to those who are pregnant and nursing, and I just started like, just turning my head, like, what about those, during the second coming, who were pregnant, or even, babies like who were aborted. I know it says in Revelation chapter something that about the people, those who, the innocent blood, crying out, when will you bring justice to us? He gives them the white robe, says, wait a little while. So I mean, those like babies and stuff, and even people who took the mark, if they're pregnant, when Jesus comes, I mean, what's going to happen? Are they just going to like babies pop out and and will they have resurrected bodies, and will they be full grown? I mean, what's your take on that?
I'll only answer one, okay? That if somebody in Matthew chapter 24, okay, there you are, verse 15 to 21 is where all these things are. If somebody is around Jerusalem, okay, and they love Jesus, and it's after the Antichrist has made a covenant with the nations to bring peace to Jerusalem. That's Daniel chapter 9, verse 27. That begins the final 7-year period. When the Antichrist has made peace, anybody who loves Jesus knows that's the Antichrist. And Jesus said, if in the next 3 years you get pregnant and have a baby, you are completely casting off everything I told you not to do. So they have a 3-year notice So it's not anybody that has a baby at that hour in Jerusalem, they are completely casting off what Jesus has told them about their life and their future and history. So it wasn't kind of like, oh, I didn't know anything about this. Because he gives them ample warning about it. He says the most evil man in history is going to emerge in Jerusalem. And you live in Jerusalem and you want to flee in that day, don't take my words so flippantly that it means nothing to you that you disregard it. So it's actually a rebuke to them if they do that. I mean, when the Antichrist appears on the earth and people live business as usual lifestyles, and they're believers, of course, we shouldn't live business as usual right now, but the Antichrist is actually on the earth and it's crystal clear, and we're doing things that are opposite of what we know to be doing, then there's a double pressure on it. And so Jesus isn't, it's not the poor lady, it's that he's warning her ahead of time, and if she's in that position at that time, then she is responsible for it, for casting off his word to her. Does that make sense? Yeah. The fact that they really do have information ahead of time.
Right. So then, what about those who are not believers, though, you know, or those who take the mark of the beast, say, you know, they're not believers.
Woe, it will be woe. It will be really hard.
So then it's like, you know, but what about the baby? You know, I mean, you know, what happens to the infant? You know?
Well, babies, they die, they live forever with God. So, you know, that's, the baby will live forever. Is that what you're asking?
And then, like, will they be, you know, will they have a resurrected body, like, full grown then? I mean,
well, who knows all that, but they would get a resurrected body. Who knows if it starts little and becomes big, or starts big and stays big. Nobody, I mean, different theories on that. Different guys have different visions, and who knows for sure. But I just know that if you're little, you'll get big pretty quick, and you'll stay big for a long time.
My question is out of Psalm 110, where it says, "He shall drink of the brook by the wayside, therefore he shall lift up his head." And you had said once that had great significance, but I've never heard you or anyone elaborate on it. So can you speak on?
I was nervous when you came up. I know this guy. I think the significance of Psalm 110, verse 7, is Jesus' humanity. That's the point, that in the midst of the battle, when he's actually marching up, it says he drinks water.
Yeah.
The point of that is the resurrected Christ has a human dimension that's interacting in the natural world. That's the bizarre part of what that verse is saying.
Okay.
That is so, not bizarre. I mean, Lord, nothing's bizarre that you say, but it's like, that is intense. So that's what it's saying, that even in his humanity, with his resurrection, there is a dimension where he's being refreshed. And you're thinking, what?
Yeah.
So I just kind of stay away from that verse, unless guys like you hit me on a question and answer, because it just says that. I mean, how can Jesus get refreshed getting a drink of water in the midst of the battle? Like, what?
Okay.
Good. Amen and amen.